Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Good to have you here, as always. So recently, I have been getting a lot of comments, emails, and DMs from guys who have actually left white power movements, skinhead gangs, violent street gangs, and even some MCs. Many of them have said, yes, I've left that hate behind, I've left the violence behind, but I feel empty inside. And I get that. It really struck a chord with me because I know that feeling really well, the leaving the hammerskins. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, about how leaving hate behind isn't actually healing. It's just the beginning of a battle that for many is one of the hardest of their lives. And as always, if you want to help me along my journey, best way to support me is to buy me a coffee. So cheers to everyone who buys me a coffee. Much appreciated. Couldn't do it without you. So cheers. That's great for the mental health. And hey, if you want to support me and buy me a coffee, all the links are in the description below. Much appreciated. So I left the white power skinhead movement a long time ago, more than 8 years ago. I was a huge part of it. I was a really notable figure. I really immersed myself in it. I was a full patched hammerskin. I organized events, did everything. My entire life, my entire world was that movement. Everything revolved around it. And so when I left, when I quit that whole movement, I was like, all right, cool, I'm done. That's it. I changed my way of thinking, changed my life. All good, right? Yeah, easy as. But no, it wasn't. You know, I soon realized that I soon lost my crew, my support network, my brothers. I lost my sense of identity. And I started questioning every decision I ever made. I carried guilt, a lot of guilt. A lot of the guilt was for leaving the movement, leaving my brothers behind, all that kind of stuff. All these things that I become attached to the ideals because of that brotherhood that I wanted to be a part of. That was it for me. I needed that brotherhood in my life. And so when I left, when I quit, because I just couldn't deal with all the bullshit anymore, they were the things that I was missing. It was that brotherhood. It was those connections. You know, that support network, is as messed up as it was, it did actually help a lot of the times for us to get through whatever life threw at us, because we had our brothers to talk to. It wasn't all about hatred and violence. There were times where we really supported each other. So when you leave that, all that's gone. It's just completely gone. There's no noise, there's nothing. It's just you. And that's hard for a lot of people. It's hard to be by yourself because you have to then face a lot of your issues alone. You have to face your anger, your fears. And that's terrifying for a lot of people, and it was for me. I developed anxiety because of it. Just the thought of having to deal with my past issues would send me into a panic attack, full blown, every time. But I knew I had to do the work. I knew I had to get through all of this. So what to do? What does anyone do after leaving that kind of life? Well, for many, they turn to partying, they turn to drugs, they turn to women, they turn to any kind of distraction, anything that sedates them, anything that kind of numbs them, stops them from having to think so much, you know, and even weed will do that. You know, many skinheads, ex-skinheads have turned to weed. I talked about it on one of my videos. And for some, that's actually a hindrance to healing. It doesn't allow them to do the work. It doesn't for me. A lot of people just sink themselves into the drugs, the drinking, the partying, and all that, the sedating, even watching TV or endless scrolling on social media, because they don't want to have to face the reality that they're going to have to do the work and face their fears. Like I said, I've had many guys message me, and it's since I've started on this journey over a year ago, talking about my life and my involvement with these scenes, I've met a lot of guys and girls who have left this movement, but they kind of don't know how to move on with their lives. You know, and for those guys who have left, especially recently, and they're feeling guilty, or they feel like they're letting their brothers down, or letting the movement down, which is the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. To all you guys out there and girls, I am so proud of you. Incredibly proud to leave those movements knowing that you're going to be leaving a lot behind that's not necessarily bad is really, really powerful. What you're doing for yourself is incredible. And I am proud of you for doing it. And I am so glad you have made that move. You have made that decision to move away from that hatred, to move away from that life that doesn't serve you any purpose. Also realize you don't have to do it alone. No, you don't. There are definitely always people willing to help. I'm one of them. I will definitely help you out in any way I can. And this community that we've built on this YouTube channel, there are many great people who have experienced the same as what we have all experienced, and they've come out the other side, and they've come out great. They're all here to help too. Or you may have friends or family who are willing to help, but you've never asked. Ask them for help. If you just need to talk, if you just need to vent, if you need to get away from these people, there will be someone to help. But you can also start by helping yourself. Yeah, generally one of the best rewarding ways to start on your healing journey. For many, we don't know how to start. We don't know how to get started on healing, right? For me, it was fitness, meditation, yoga to begin with. That's what really helped me. And of course, therapy. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to do therapy. They're, just have an aversion to counselors and therapists. That's cool, I get that too. But just know there are therapists out there for you. It's about finding the right one for you. One of my favorite addiction recovery counselors and Buddhist and hardcore punk, heavily tattooed, absolutely great guy, Noah Levine. Seriously, if you're a tattooed punk, skinhead, metaler, biker, whatever, and you think these therapists just don't understand you, yeah, go look up Noah Levine. I guarantee you'll find a kindred spirit in him. There are also many online resources. There are many programs to help you start along the path. But even just getting out, going for a walk, sitting by a river, sitting in a park, being alone for 5 minutes in nature is definitely a great way to start on the healing process. And while you're sitting there in silence for 5 minutes, listen to what comes up from here. Because that's what it takes. That's what the healing journey is about. It's about stopping all of the noise up here and listening to this here. The only way you can listen to this here is by quietening this down. For me, it's meditation. 10 minutes of meditation, sitting down and shutting the fuck up does wonders for me. And that is what's got me to where I am now in my healing journey. Meditation. Meditation and learning about practices which benefit me and get me through all that bullshit, because there's always a lot of bullshit that we create for ourselves, especially in those movements. That hatred that we're reflecting out onto everyone else, yeah, we don't want to direct it to ourselves, so we reflect it onto other people. That's what it's about. So doing the work, doing the healing, helps with all that and then some. But just lastly, if you've watched and you've walked away from a toxic crew or you're thinking about it, just know that I've been there. I know that fear, but I also know the freedom on the other side. And that is what makes it worthwhile, going through that fear, taking that first step, going, no, I don't want to live this life of hatred. I don't want to be in a war that makes no sense. I don't want to be fighting other people because of some stupid belief. I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be a part of it. And so this month, don't just post the hashtag. Check in on yourself. Check in on your brothers. It's Men's Mental Health Month, and it's super important that we share what we're feeling. We share what is bothering us. You're not ever going to be a burden for sharing what is bothering you, what's bringing you down, because that is the important step to healing, is by sharing about it, by acknowledging what is bothering you, and then finding ways to resolve that, finding ways to find peace within yourself. That's what this journey is about. And we can do it together. As men, we can grow together. We can help each other out. One of the strongest things you can do as a human being, as a man, is to uplift your brothers, to uplift others, to uplift anyone. That takes true strength. And when you can do that, you can uplift yourself. You can move forward with a good life, brother. And that's what it's truly about. having that good life. Thank you so much for tuning in for this one. This was an important one for Men's Mental Health Month, so I much appreciate you being here. And hey, if you appreciated this message, please feel free to share it with others. We really need to spread the word and raise awareness about men's mental health issues. Thank you again for tuning in for another video. I really appreciate you being here. And hey, if you want to keep supporting this channel and supporting me, because this is how I make a living, you know, you can buy me a coffee, buy my merchandise, sign up for memberships, Patreon, all that good stuff. It all goes a long way to keeping me fed and fueled on coffee. So thank you. If you can just give this video a big like, subscribe down below if you haven't already, and hit the little bell to get notified, and you'll be seeing new videos from me every week. Thanks so much. Stay safe. Peace out. And love and light to you.